So Jurassic World Rebirth is the latest movie in the Jurassic World franchise. It's directed by Gareth Edwards and it stars Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, Jonathan Bailey, and this movie taking place sometime after the events of the last Jurassic World movie. A group of scientists go to one of the islands that has some of the dinosaurs that were from the last Jurassic World incidents. They're all living there, and they try to get DNA samples to basically make medicine and such. But when they get trapped on the island, as well as his family gets trapped on this island as well, they have to survive the elements once again. This was a movie that I was not really looking forward to. Now, I still love the original Jurassic Park. I think that movie still holds up all these years later. In fact, when I saw it again in 3D a couple of years back for its 30th anniversary, that movie was even better on the big screen. And that's one of those movies where I feel like if you have the opportunity to see it on the big screen, do it. And as far as the other Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies go, I have a love-hate relationship with them. There are times where it's like, yeah, these movies just aren't as good as the original Jurassic Park, but I can look at them and say, there's some moments in each one where it's like, okay, that's not that bad, or that's not great, or that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's an alright movie, I guess, if you kind of just turn your brain off. And with this movie, I think I turned my brain off so much that I wound up falling asleep. This movie is not very good, if I'm being honest. And this movie only really hinges, if you really love all the Jurassic Park movies, and I'm not just talking the original, if you love Dominion, then you'll probably enjoy this movie. You'll probably enjoy this movie quite a bit. I will say it's better than Dominion, about as good as Fallen Kingdom, but for different reasons. But this movie's not great. I was hoping this movie would at least be good because Gareth Edwards was involved and he did The Creator, which I thought was a really good movie. But this movie, yeah, it just didn't work for me. Now, let's start with things I do like. The acting is fine. It's serviceable enough. Like, no one in this movie, I would say, gives a bad performance. If I had to pick, like, the people who kind of shine the most, Mahershala Ali, giving a better performance than I expected. Well, he's a great actor, but I wouldn't expect him to do a movie like this. He could have been Blade, but I thought he was, of the main cast, I thought he was the best. I kind of got attached to the family in this movie in a sense as like, okay, you're not as annoying as I thought you were going to be. I thought at first you were going to be like these throwaway characters, like, what are you doing in these movies and such. And then you kind of start caring about them as the movie goes on, including one character in the family who is very obnoxious. I kind of started caring about him towards the end of the movie. So any movie that can do that, I gotta appreciate that. There are some cool dinosaurs, like, in all these movies, you kind of see all these dinosaurs and they're all really cool and they're very visually pleasing and such. And admittedly, there are a few fun sequences here and there, primarily on the islands themselves and a few at sea, which I think were fine. They were serviceable enough. Yeah, everything else in this movie is just bland. I cannot care about anyone in this movie, really, aside from a couple characters. Scarlett Johansson, she's okay, but I felt like her character could have been played by literally any actress and wouldn't have made any difference. Jonathan Bailey, I thought he was pretty bland in this movie. Also, a lot of things don't really make sense with some of the things he does, but I'll talk about it. Also, I don't really care for... This movie doesn't really have a lot of dinosaur action. Like, you do see the dinosaurs, and you kind of, like, have some cool moments with them, but they're really not in this movie a whole lot. Yeah, and also, the dinosaurs, in my opinion, kind of look more like aliens rather than dinosaurs, and that kind of leads me to a theory about this movie. What if this was a movie that was made to be, like, some sort of, like, alien movie and such, but they kind of realized, oh, crap, we were not bought by Fox, we can't do this as an alien movie, so we have to do this as a Universal movie instead. Is there a franchise that could work? I guess Jurassic Park works. That's the closest thing we have. Okay. The D-Rex looks kind of cool, but at the same time, I'm thinking, that looks more like an alien than an actual dinosaur. Oh well. Also, there are so many homages to Spielberg that it just becomes annoying after a while. There's a scene where the kid tries to entice one of the smaller dinosaurs to kind of like, go with her and such, and she gives him chocolate. I'm like, where did you get that from? Also, the score kind of reminded me of Jaws quite a bit, and it's very disappointing because Alexander Desplat, who is a great composer, his music is very underwhelming in this movie too. I thought it was just very bland, and also that one scene, it literally felt like he just literally took the score from Jaws. How do you just take that and just make it, like, why? Just why? And also, this movie strangely rehashes a lot of stuff that we've kind of already established in the original movies, like how in Jurassic World, there's this whole commentary about how, oh, people don't really seem to care about dinosaurs anymore. Okay, this movie kind of does the exact same thing, only somehow not as good as they did in Jurassic World, which only did it in a mediocre way. This is somehow worse. It really makes no sense. kind of, so basically everything that happened at the end of Fallen Kingdom does not matter. Does not matter whatsoever. And also, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Jonathan Bailey's character, he mentions, no one really cares about dinosaurs anymore, and he kind of works with these dinosaurs and such, and kind of works in a museum in some way. And yet, there's a scene in the movie where he's just amazed that he's seeing a dinosaur there. It's just seeing a dinosaur on this island, and they play the same music that they played in all the other Jurassic Park movies. And it's not as awe-inspiring as they think it is. Like in the original, when the characters see dinosaurs for the first time, it's because they have not seen dinosaurs at all. So when they see them for the first time, it's actually an amazing moment because they didn't think anything like that was going to be possible. But Jonathan Bailey's character in this movie is just amazed that he's seeing something that he has not seen in a couple days. Why? It's not as awe-inspiring as this movie thinks it is. Meanwhile, again, a lot of the characters are pretty forgettable, and I think it's mostly just like there's really no dimension in these characters, and you kind of have to make me care about these characters in order to make me enjoy this movie. And you just can't. You really just can't. And no, you have to, but this movie really doesn't know how to. It's so bland and so generic that honestly, I kind of just lost interest about halfway through, and I just couldn't care anymore. I was just kind of waiting more for this movie to end. It also has one of the dumbest product placements I've ever seen with a Snickers bar. If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not good, you guys. It's really not good. If you don't really care about the other Jurassic World movies, I don't think this movie is going to entice you. If you love all the other Jurassic World movies, then you'll probably enjoy this movie. But if you're like me, you only really like the original, but have moments where it's like, okay, these movies aren't bad. Like, this movie is just kind of okay-ish at best. And even I think that's a little too strong, because I think this movie is just serviceable to a point. I will say, like, some of the actors do a good job. The dinosaurs are pretty cool. There are some fun sequences here and there, but I felt very bored by this movie. The dinosaur action is very lacking. I thought the dinosaurs looked more like aliens. The characters themselves are not very interesting. They rehash stuff from the original. Somehow they do it worse than they did in the previous movies. The Spielberg homages are more annoying rather than charming. It just feels like I'm just kind of over this franchise, and apparently it's supposed to be the beginning of a new trilogy, and I just don't know where they will go from here. Just stop. I will give Jurassic World Rebirth 1.5 out of 4 stars. Stream it. I like this about as much as I liked Fallen Kingdom. Probably a little bit more than Dominion, but that's not really too much of a recommendation. So, Jurassic World Rebirth, what is your favorite Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movie besides Jurassic Park? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat. Stay safe.